Hi, this is Chris Howard, host of Plugged In with Chris Howard. BetOnline is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for all your sports betting action. BetOnline has more ways to stay in on the action with the latest odds, news, scores, even live in-game betting while the games are being played. With the largest selection of odds on everything from Major League Baseball, NHL, and UFC, and professional golf, BetOnline remains the number one source for all your sports wagering info. In between games, head over to the BetOnline's casino with all the top Vegas-style games, including poker and live casino. BetOnline, the game starts here.
In a world saturated with sugary drinks, health-conscious consumers began to wonder, could there be a better way? Could there be a drink that quenched your thirst and gave back to your body without the aftertaste of guilt? It started at a small farmer's market with nothing more than a handful of bottles and a big idea: to create a soda that was not only refreshing, but actually good for you. Fast forward a few years, and that humble booth has evolved into something far beyond anyone's expectations. What began as a niche product tucked away on the shelves of Whole Foods has become a cultural juggernaut. It's now a household name, found across the country and beloved by celebrities like Kylie Jenner and Post Malone, with its success showing no signs of slowing down. So what's the secret to this meteoric rise? Is it the bold flavors like strawberry lemon and cream soda? Or is it the health benefits packed into every can? What started as a simple health-driven alternative has now defined a sector of the industry: functional beverages. And that's why this week's On Brand is on Poppi.
You're all jazzed up, really having a cow. You want your favorite show and it's on right now. It's on Brand.
Welcome to On Brand with Jon and Marisa. I'm Jon.
I'm Marisa, and we are doing things a little differently this week.
Okay, it is episode 99. And
Yes.
for the first time ever, we are doing what most people do every time, and that is record remotely. It has taken us an hour and 20 minutes with the help of Alistair. If it was Marisa and I, we would not be recording right now. So
No,
a big
definitely.
thanks, Alistair. I think
Big
everything
thanks.
is working right now. If we sound like robots, we're sorry. But okay, Poppi. So the first thing I have to ask, in your intro, you mentioned Post Malone. Do you know who that is?
I get him mixed up with Jelly Roll.
Okay,
Because don't they both have face tattoos?
they're both country larger white men, though I think Posty has a lot. Posty, because I know him.
You're
I
a
can call
personal
him
friend.
Posty, has lost a lot of weight. I also don't know where to look. We're used to looking across at each other. I'm looking at this picture of you. I don't know if I'm supposed to be looking in the camera.
No, I'm looking at a picture of John the size of a postage stamp.
I don't know why it matters, because we only use about 20 seconds of footage from any of these records. But okay, Poppi. Okay, so you've picked something that, I mean, I feel like I already know that it's off-brand for me. I'm a soda enjoyer. Everyone knows I drink Diet Coke. When I'm in Ohio, which is where I currently am, I indulge in a Barks red cream soda.
Ooh.
It is so delicious.
What makes it red cream?
A lot
Ketchup?
of dye.
Really?
It is so unnaturally red. It will shock you. I took a picture of it
enjoy
yesterday.
it while you can. RFK is going to come for red cream soda.
Yeah.
Stock up.
We don't talk about those things on this show. But yeah, I should enjoy it while I can. But it's a delicious.
Does it taste like a regular cream soda, or is it have a
No,
little cinnamon
there's like
or something?
something in it. I feel like it's going to be one of those things we're going to find out eventually that it's like human. It's like there's some like drop of something in it. It does not taste like a normal cream soda. It doesn't taste like a strawberry. It doesn't taste like a fruit. It's just, I have some at home. I'll bring you some so you can taste it.
You have some at your home in LA?
I recently ordered some and had them delivered. They came like right before I left to come to Ohio.
You know, that's actually smart, because that's a tricky one to pack in the suitcase. That's high risk. A glass
I usually
bottle.
will pack a couple. So
I imagined it's a glass bottle, is it?
no, it's like
it's
a
a can.
normal like
Okay.
20-ounce bottle. But there's one place you can order it online where it's a pretty reasonable, but you have to buy 24 and they give you free shipping. But it's like you get this really heavy box of 24 sodas, and it takes, I mean, even for me, I drink them as a treat. It's not something
Yeah.
I drink a lot, so they last me a while. So
That sounds like the Juggalo soda.
Juggalo, I don't know that one.
You don't know what a Juggalo is?
No, I don't know what Juggalo is.
You don't the Juggalo people? You don't know what
No.
Juggalos are?
I don't know.
You've
I've never heard the word Juggalo.
Juggalo. So
No.
there's so funny.
Is this going to make me look bad? Am I like racist now?
No. Juggalo is like, it's a movement of fans of Insane Clown Posse.
Oh, Juggalos, of course. I am. Okay, yes.
And there's that soda that they like. I forget what it is. The red. I feel like it's red.
It's not Fanta, is it?
Gosh, I don't. It's the Juggalos listening to this are screaming.
If we have any
swerving into the
Juggalo
median.
freaks, I'm gonna look it up.
It reminds like that, like an obscure regional soda. I love soda too, and that's why
Faygo. It's Faygo,
yeah.
And that is like a Midwestern thing. I think that is a Michigan soda. That's a soda that I had. That's a very on-brand soda for me because when we were growing up, Faygo is like, it's definitely local and it comes in a million flavors. And when you're a kid, that made it super fun. But my mother would drink Faygo. So it was
really?
It definitely has like a...
Did she also have her face painted in black and white like a scary clown?
My mom is into Insane Clown Posse. That's like, she doesn't listen to much, but that's the only band that she listens to. She does like blues and then Insane Clown Posse. So
there's a lot of overlap in the blues community and
she
the
likes
Juggalo.
King. For Christmas, she either wants a BB King CD or to stream. Actually, I got her 2 Faygos for Christmas this year.
You did?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, how cute.
I got her more. So if someone's like, wow, cheap son, I got her other things too. But as a bonus,
$3?
2 Faygos in there.
Now, I know we have a lot to talk about in the world of Poppi, but I got to ask, Ohio, how many times have you had Skyline?
Okay, so I've been here 6 days.
Okay.
And I'm not going to lie. I get Skyline most days.
Oh.
I think I've had it 5 days. Like I may stop and just get a Coney, but I get it most days. But I did something I've never done before. And now there's a Skyline in the airport. It used to be McDonald's. McDonald's closed. Now it's a Skyline. And that Skyline opens at like 3 a.m. And my flight lands at like, I think I got in at like 5:40 in the morning. And for the very first time in my life, had Skyline Conies. They have a breakfast menu at the airport. So, I mean, it's whatever. It's like everything we talk about. Like, it's the same ingredients, just in a different form. Like, you can either get chili on eggs or chili on a hot dog. It's basically the same thing. But I had cheese conies at 5:40 in the morning.
Oh my God.
It did not sit great.
Oh man. And that's for 5:40 Ohio time. So it's like even more the middle of the night.
Right.
LA
It's
time.
2:40 in the morning your time. And so then I'd beeline to Skyline. Actually, I landed, I mean, if you need to know it all, I landed, got in line at Brugger's Bagels, got a bagel to have for later in the morning, then across the food court, went to Skyline, got 2 cheese conies, ate those. Then I had to get the tram to baggage claim. My stomach started to hurt on the tram, and there was only 2 people on the tram, me on one end and a woman all the way on the other end. And I was like, boy, now I know why you don't eat Skyline in the morning. And she didn't like, it was one of those things where she didn't like want to say anything at first. And then she's like, what? And I was like, I just had Skyline.
You had to repeat it?
Yeah. Definitely too early for that. And she's like, oh yeah. And then I think I complimented her on her blouse.
Just as an effort to redeem yourself. Like, I'm not just a disgusting freak. Gorgeous blouse, by the way.
Listen, I apologize.
I might have diarrhea on the tram.
Exactly. But you, on point. You look
Most
lovely.
people, I don't think I've ever eaten at an airport at my arrival. I feel like usually like you have time to kill before your departure, and so you grab something before you get on the plane.
Well,
two restaurant stops is a lot.
I stay with my sister, and I used to rent a car, so like and my sister eats very healthy, and she always gets things for me, but now I Uber to her house. So I know that I'm not going to get to a store. Like I usually we have a routine. I get here, we chat for a couple hours, then I sleep, and then blah, blah, blah. So I just like to have usually just a bagel, like so that I can have a bagel and cream cheese. And they do a lot of non-dairy stuff. I'm at her house now. That's whose plant seeds are behind me. Again, no one's ever going to see this footage. But so yeah. I stopped at a third place because before I even got to the bagel shop, and you'll actually like this, before I got to the bagel shop, there was a very cute, and I took a picture of it so we can put it on our Insta, of like this farmer. I mean, it definitely is a corporation, but it was
fake
like
farm. A fake farm I like.
Fake farm vending machine. So there was like all these like cute salads in jars, and they had overnight oats, which I know you guys think you own this oat craze. I was doing overnight oats before, but now I feel like I have to be against them because you're for them. But I love overnight oats, and they had this cute little jar of like overnight oats with blueberry, which had the smallest amount of blueberry in it I've ever seen. And then like you open it up, and before you get to the overnight oats, there was like this really yummy, like crunchy granola and toasted walnuts that you could pour in it. So they were still like crunchy.
Yeah.
And it was like, whatever, $6 for like this little individual serving. And it was really good.
For the airport, $6 isn't bad. I mean,
Not
$6
bad.
is a water at the airport. And honestly,
know.
we've said this before, they'll ask you to tip.
They'll ask you to
I
tip.
got a water at the airport. I brought it over. I booped it. And then she swiveled it around.
Yeah.
15%, 20%, 25%. This tip
No
is going
percent.
to me, honey. You write me a check.
I'm so you know what they do here in Ohio that drives me crazy, and because I don't feel like this happens in California as much, and you probably wouldn't know because you don't go to drive-thrus as much as I do. Most places here don't have it set up to use Apple Pay, where like they hand me something and I swipe my phone. I have to give a stranger my phone. Like I have to open up my bank account and then just hand this person my phone, and then they take it in and they do the transaction. It's very
There's some
odd.
things that are so futuristic, like all the little kiosks and stuff, like at fast food places. But then like things like that, it's like, how are we not adapting?
Dude, it's like this has happened to me twice now in the last month. Uniqlo, which I had seen before. Have you shopped at Uniqlo recently?
Yes, it's very cyber.
Uniqlo, you go, you shop, you get your items, you throw them in a hole, like in a bucket, and it just tells you everything you bought. It's like, okay, you got the Andy Warhol shirt, you got the bag, and blah, blah, blah. So I do that, and it overcharged me like $70.
Are you kidding?
No. So then I call, and then I was like looking through the thing. I was like, oh, here's the thing. Here's the $70 thing that I don't have. The woman had to come over, pull all my stuff out, go through it one by one. She ended up having to do it twice. I was there for probably 15 minutes.
Oh my gosh.
For this,
it takes so much longer than just doing it the regular way. Doesn't that drive you
and then
crazy?
I tried to make a joke to like a teenager. Oh, because I had already I may as well turn this into a brand rant. So I had already been shopping at Uniqlo, and then like I hadn't used the app in a while, so you had to re-download the app, and I do. And it's
I'm
like,
already in hell that I have to go into. I have to like download an app when I go into a physical store, not shopping online. I have to go into a store. I have to take out my phone, remember a password, download an app, a Wi-Fi.
And it kept telling me that I had the password wrong, even though it was filling it in itself. And it's like, but then a thing popped up that was like $10 off $75. I was like, great, because I was spending about that. But then I go to use the coupon, and there's no coupon there. And then I'm like, oh, it said I had a coupon. She's like, I don't know. And then I ask the manager. She calls the manager. I was like, oh, it said I had a coupon. She's like, well, sometimes if you re-downloaded the app, it's just going to tell you that. It doesn't know if you've already used the coupon. That means you've used it. I was like, no. I was like, okay, fine, whatever. So then I leave, and then I have the debacle. The same manager is the one that comes over to try to fix this.
Unbelievable.
And then at the end, I'm like, so have I earned that $10 off $75? She's like, sorry, there's nothing I can do. I was like, what? She's like a teenager. It's like all these like people that haven't been in retail enough to like kind of just know that it's not that big of a deal. Just do it.
Sure. She's never shopped in a Nordstrom, so she doesn't know what we were raised on. Where like if a transaction would take too long, sometimes they would say like, we're just going to give you like a $5 gift card or something. They just wouldn't want to make it right. You want to maintain the relationship with the customer, and that's just out the window.
I'm sure people listening have heard this, but I'm sure there's some that haven't. The famous story with Nordstrom, if you don't know, Nordstrom is famous for returning anything. You can take anything back to Nordstrom. And
they don't have a return policy. It's just like case by case basis. They're going to take everything back.
Exactly. And the story I heard, and I'm sure it's urban legend, but I love to believe it's true, is that one day someone came in and returned a tire. And they're like, we don't have an automotive department, but we will happily take this tire back. And they like gave them $29 for this tire.
That cannot be.
That's how you do it.
And then they put it on the shelf, like with a bunch of like little pumps, and it had like a sign that was like one tire,
$29,
$29,
last chance. I love it when they say like Macy's does like last chance. I'm like, oh shit, it's last chance. Until I find it, you sent it to like Goodwill or somewhere else.
Oh my gosh.
There's always another chance.
I'm exhausted by that story. I cannot believe the patience you had to muster for that.
Girl, That's don't rough. Even know. You don't even know what I go through. It's all for the show. Now this woman had no idea that she was going to be ridiculed on a podcast.
She's on blast.
Yeah, she's on blast. I'm going to go back and give her like a QR code for this episode. You might want to listen to this.
Right to the timestamp so she doesn't have to listen to us blather on about airport food.
Yeah, exactly.
The new NBA and MLB season is in full swing, and BetOnline has you covered with the best odds and biggest promotions and live in-game betting on all your favorite teams. Head to BetOnline today to stay updated on all the action. BetOnline, the game starts here.
So 99th episode, we're doing a healthy soda.
We're doing a healthy soda. This is a really popular beverage right now. I'm a soda person. You're a soda person, but I don't drink diet soda. I used to have a really crippling Diet Coke addiction where I would drink many, many, many a day. I'd wake up in the middle of the night. I'd just have a can, have a couple sips. That was probably 15 years ago. And I started drinking diet soda in middle school. So I had a good long stretch of aspartame pumping through my veins.
Yeah.
I cut it out cold turkey, and I truly have not had a sip on accident. We were at Din Tai Fung and I was accidentally given a diet soda, and I was like, something's wrong about this. I haven't had a diet drink in 15 years. I strongly prefer the taste. You get used to it. You like it tasted good to me. It tastes good to you. But if you haven't had Diet Coke in a really long time, it doesn't taste yummy anymore.
Yeah.
So now my
treat. It's like cigarettes.
It's like cigarettes, exactly. It's I don't know. Are they as addictive as cigarettes? I don't know. But I was definitely conditioned to love the taste of diet soda.
Excuse me while I have a quick sip of Diet Coke.
Crisp and refreshing. So now my treat, and I actually find myself craving. I got to keep those mini cans of Coke in the house because at the end of the day, ooh, boy, that hits right.
Nothing makes me more insane than when someone's like, oh, I got Diet Cokes for you because I knew you were coming over. And they pull out one of those mini cans of Diet Coke. I'm like, where? Just give me the 8-pack. What is this?
The mini can for the diet soda doesn't really make as much sense because the point is that you're kind of picking a reduced calorie option. So it's zero either way. Unless maybe you truly cannot finish a Diet Coke, which I don't know anybody who's ever had that problem.
I remember, maybe you never went through it, but several times in my life, I've gone through different dieting phases. And there was one where it was all about low fat. Mm-hmm. And there was a butter that I used to get. It was called, I can't believe it's not butter, or something like that. Mm-hmm. And it came in a spray bottle. And it would be 0 calories, 0 fat. And then I realized it was because it was a spray. It was such a small amount that it just didn't register. It had the normal amount of fat as everything.
I remember there was one like that had the less than sign. It would be less than 4 sprays is 1 calorie. And then, but I don't know how it would track. The math would track. Is 8 sprays 2 calories? I don't know. I used to eat the craziest diet food. I've done it all. I've done Jenny Craig. I've done Weight Watchers. I've done a Slim Fast Shakes, South Beach Diet, all of them. I did all of them. And I don't even touch them with a 10-foot pole anymore. But it is a really weird world. There's a section at the grocery store that is low calorie, freakazoid Frankenstein food. Have you seen this? It'll be a jar of ranch dressing and a tub of caramel, and it's 0 calories. It is truly makes no sense. It's a tiny little section of the grocery store, but when I first moved to LA, I had a headshot photographer in LA tell me, when you moved to LA, you're trying to be an actress. She goes, after the end of our photo session, she goes, I'm going to tell you this because I really like you. That something bad is coming.
Yeah, something terrible is coming.
I'm going to tell you this because I really like you. I think you could be a leading lady if you were thinner. Imagine telling that to a 18-year-old who just moved to Los Angeles and paid upwards of $700 for headshots, which that is what they cost, which is criminal.
Yeah.
Telling her that she's cute but too fat to be a leading lady. So needless to say, I spent a lot of time in the 0 calorie caramel aisle. And then I'm at home eating 0 calorie caramel, which is probably gasoline and Windex with stevia, Splenda, whatever it was back then, with a spoon. That world is really rough.
I went through them all too. And I remember and I pinpoint it to one human being.
Oh.
Casey Vanderham in 3rd grade. Called me his big buddy. And I was like, what? I was like, the fuck?
Oh, no.
Your big buddy. That gave me my complex.
Long
story short, sure, me, a lifetime of hell. I did run into Casey in college, and he was bigger, and I was like, okay.
Who's the big buddy now?
Who's the big buddy now?
Were you taller than him, though? Because you are very tall.
Babe, you look at these, you have moments like that throughout your life, and then you go look at a picture. I was like a tiny little third grader. Like I just was a normal boy in a Spider-Man shirt.
Gosh.
And he probably didn't even mean anything by it, but
no, he probably didn't
ruined
mean
my
it.
life. But yeah, I went through all of those too. And then for some reason now I'm remembering, do you remember Susan Powder? She was like all no fat, but she was definitely on meth or coke or she was sped up, and she had fluorescent blonde hair.
Yes.
She was the heart rate of a hummingbird. She was who I listened to for a good while. I did lose weight with her. You lose weight with all of them.
You do. It's we've talked about that, the Olestra chips where you eat them and you get diarrhea. Sure, you lose weight.
Oh my God.
You're eating
the
a big
Olestra
bag of
chips
legs.
were you can have 7 Doritos and you'll be comfortable. If you have so much as a nibble of one more Dorito, you'll be in the bathroom for 2 days.
It's a really it's like a psychological experiment. It's is it worth it? Can you override the food scientists who spent $1 billion making these chips so delicious that it is impossible to eat less than 8? But that 8th chip that you want so badly will cause you diarrhea for the rest of the day. Is it worth it?
I am almost certain that there was a moment where I just ate those Doritos while sitting on the toilet because I was like, bro, I'm not stopping. So let's just go through the whole cycle here.
We talked about this just when we were hanging out the other day, that Venison Ally, that you would eat it and it would be you can only have 14 grams of fat per day on this pill. Otherwise, it's all coming straight out. It was weird. And that's not how this was pre Lizzo. This was pre body positivity.
Whoa. Why are we throwing Lizzo out?
Because Lizzo was kind of championing this body positivity movement. You know what I mean? So this was really this was Paris Hilton, Lindsay Lohan. Thin was in from 90s through the 2010. I feel like it was all about being very skinny. And now there's, different messaging, advertising. It's kind of adjusting to be a little bit more realistic and less psychologically damaging. But we went through it. And so maybe that's why I have a kind of, I don't know, suspicion of anything that claims to be I'll just tell you what Poppi is. Poppi is a soda that contains prebiotics from agave, insulin, and cassava root fiber, apple cider vinegar, fruit juice, and a little bit of sugar. 1 can of soda is reported to contain 5 grams or less of sugar and 35 or fewer calories. So if I see 5 grams or less,
there's
or
no caramel coloring.
There's no caramel coloring. Actually, they have a cola, so maybe in that one, but it's probably of natural origin.
Oh boy. They
are sweetened with stevia, which gives me tummy troubles. So
everything it's everything has some sort of consequence.
There's a cost. That's right. A good old fashioned sugar has never done me wrong. I say that now.
Just use sugar, but in smaller quantities.
Smaller quantities, yeah. Which they have a little bit of sugar, so I think that's kind of the middle ground. It's not just a diet soda with Diet Coke, zero grams of sugar. It has a little bit of sugar to give it kind of that regular sugar soda flavor. But then the rest of it is sweetened with fruit and a little bit of stevia, which stevia is everywhere now. Everything has stevia in it.
I want to throw this out just before I forget, and I'm sure this is another tip that a lot of people already know. But during this time of year, I guess it's during Lent, Coca-Cola, for their 2 liters of regular Coke, some of them will have a yellow cap on them. The ones that they're made specifically for, I believe, Lent or some sort of holiday that happens right now, those have real sugar in them. It is the only time of the year that you can get a 2 liter of Coke that has real sugar in it.
Oh my gosh.
You can get the Mexican ones, the Mexican bottles that say real sugar, and those are smaller and more expensive. But this is it's a hack that a lot of people really look forward to because they can stock up on them.
Wow, that is interesting. Yeah, I much preferred the flavor of the real sugar, the Mexican Cokes that I don't know if it could, does everybody get Mexican Coke? We have them here in California, but we're also closer to Mexico. But glass bottles, it looks like it's from the 1970s and it's that real sugar. And oh my gosh, there's nothing better. I mean, I'll never turn down a can of Coke or a fountain Coke, but ooh, that's a real treat without the high fructose corn syrup. That's a good tip. Yellow cap.
That's
really
good.
good.
For the yellow cap, it's only April, May or March, April, May or around then.
That's very exciting. Okay, so Poppi now comes in many popular flavors, including strawberry lemon, orange, cherry limeade, grape, cream soda, cherry cola, orange cream, wild berry, lemon lime, watermelon, Doc Pop, which is a Dr. Pepper. So they they want it to be what?
I just love the world of Dr. Pepper and Mountain Dew and how many generic versions there are. I want to do a whole episode just on that. It's like Mountain Lion, Mountain Range, Mountain Breeze. There's just every incarnation of those two sodas.
I need to hear that somebody got a doctoral degree to know what flavor profile I'm getting into. Though there is Mr. Pibb. I just need some title. I need some kind of title.
Yeah. No, it's so funny to me. Oh, before you get into this, maybe you're going to tell me, is this a Shark Tank brand? Isn't this a Shark Tank brand?
It is a Shark Tank brand, but it has changed. So it started out as one thing, and then when I went on Shark Tank, it got a rebrand. So we'll talk all about that. Have you ever had a Poppi, by the way? Have you seen them? Do you know what they look like?
The only time I ever am going to have a LaCroix or a Poppi is if I'm at a party thrown by someone like you, and that's all you offer.
I get that multi-pack. There's some really good... Minis are good for a party, the mini cans, because a lot of them get just like left on a table somewhere to just like boil in the sun. So Costco has a really good variety pack of tiny sodas. They have one that's like a lemon lime, a root beer, an orange, and then one that's like, and then you get a Coke and a Diet Coke. So I'm reformed. People might judge me for having the regular full sugar sodas. I'll get the Waterloos and the Spindrifts also, but I think it's a treat. I think it's a real treat to have a real full sugar soda at a party.
You know what full sugar soda I treat myself sometimes? It's relatively new that I got in Los Angeles. It's in the soda aisle, but like at the end of the aisle where you do find the Mexican Coke and all the different like randos, a Mexican pineapple soda.
Oh, a little
like a carbonated pineapple soda. And I saw that Trader Joe's is out now actually selling one, so I kind of want to try theirs. But it's a nice little flavor profile.
It's more of like a sweet... Is it like juicy or like soda-y or seltzer-y? What would you call it of those three?
I would say more soda-y. It's not like essence of. It's like urine yellow. And they also have like a pink grapefruit one that's a little like tart, which is also very delicious.
Yum.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. I'll have to look for that. That's great.
But I assume really Poppies are clear, right? They're like clear and they're in that same... I didn't know that they had antibiotics, but I'll just let you go.
Antibiotics.
Or what did you say? Probiotics.
Prebiotics.
Antibiotics. I have a yeast infection. Grab a Poppi.
Grab a Poppi and a turkey baster. You'll be right as rain in no time. If you've seen them on the shelf, I think you would appreciate the way that they look. They have a really distinct, they have great branding. They have a really distinct look, and they really have...
No, they're cute. I do know their branding. Their branding I love. I feel like whoever, if any shark did get on board, I love the whole look and vibe of it. They are trying hard to stand out.
They really are. So let's get into the whole history because it's a fun story.
Okay.
So our story starts in 2016. At the time, a woman named Allison Ellsworth, she lives in Texas. She's working in the oil and gas industry, and she has to frequently travel as part of her job. She has to travel a lot and stay in these little small town hotels. Grocery stores are far away. Gyms are far away. And she is somebody who has frequent, unexplained, undiagnosable tummy troubles. So she always has like bloating and gas. We know what this is like. It's like you go to the doctor, you spend a ton of money, and like no one is able to help you. So she's really frustrated, and she lives on the road a lot. So she doesn't have access to like the food that might even be like helping her and alleviate her symptoms.
They're always like, it's stress. I'm like, it's not. Sure, maybe partly it's stress. It's not all stress.
It's not all stress. I know doctors are very dismissive of tummy stuff.
Yeah.
So that's when she starts to learn about the benefits of apple cider vinegar. So some benefits could include a balanced gut microbiome, improved digestion, and decreased bloating and gas. Sign me up. There's also been some recent clinical trials that say apple cider vinegar may benefit those looking to lower their blood sugar levels, manage diabetes, or improve their heart health. So apple cider vinegar, do we still say superfood? I think we could call it a superfood.
Sure.
It's
a superfood.
It's a superfood.
I know people that have done like fast and stuff with apple cider, like making weird potions out of apple cider vinegar.
So I think she was just like doing a shot of it. She was doing a shot of it every day. And she said after 2 weeks, it really did change her life and how she felt. It's like her bloating is so much better. Her digestion is so much better. She's like shocked that this change has worked. It's so simple. It was taking a shot of apple cider vinegar every day. The one thing that she didn't like was the taste. It's very hard on the tongue, so to speak.
I always picture it just being like rotted apples if they were like juiced.
I think that's how they make it. I think you put like an old apple core in like a bucket.
Yeah, it's like fermented. I don't love a lot of the things in the fermentation world. I'm not a kimchi person. I'm not a sauerkraut person. Something about fermentation. I'm not a kombucha person at all.
Yeah, well, your gut might thank
I'll be
you.
honest, I've had some kombucha. I'm like that meme where that girl's like, It's like, I kind of, maybe, nah, but it's not like I'm not going out of my way. And I get that it must be $1 billion industry because there's a bunch of them.
For sure is. So she's inspired by what she could create. And Allison gets to work back in her kitchen. When she gets back home, she uses juices and fruit, apple cider vinegar, tea, prebiotic soda. She's mixing in some raspberries and just kind of simmering everything down to come up with like a little concoction. She came up with a drink that she says tasted like a little bit like a healthy soda, kind of kombucha-like, but really it was its whole new thing. So at first it's just a hobby. She gives these like mason jars of her drink to friends and family. At this time, also just timing-wise, she decided she's getting sick of traveling for work. She kind of wants to settle down. Her and her husband, Steven, they moved to Dallas and they build a house there. Allison gets pregnant. She feels like the old oil and gas business job isn't going to really work with like the new lifestyle she wants, being a mom and kind of settling down. So she decides she's going to start selling her little jars of her drink at the farmer's market on the weekends.
Love it. I love someone that's got a thing and they go to a place to sell it.
Isn't that so inspiring?
They like pack up their car with their dirty, dusty old drum. They poured it into old mayonnaise jars. And they're like, I have this new thing that's going to change the world. And everyone's
that's
like,
right. She's gone in the Hellman's label off an old mayonnaise jar.
I mean, Goo Gone, there's a brand. I do love some Goo Gone.
How does it work? We should do that in the future, for sure. Within the first week, she sold out of all of her bottles. She's like, okay, next week, we'll make double. They sell out of all that. The third week, she goes, okay, we'll make double again. They sell out of all that. So now it's the third week of her farmer's market. She has now a name for her drink. She calls it Mother Beverage, which is a reference to the mother good bacteria in the apple cider vinegar.
No. That's like Hazinga 1. You cannot call it Mother Beverage. Nobody's going to be like, I need a nice cold glass of Mother Beverage. Hello, Sharks. So, like, we're changing the name. I'm not even going to buy it, but change it to Poppi. Mother Beverage sucks.
Their most popular flavors were blueberry sage, lime ginger, raspberry rose, and pineapple turmeric. And if you look at the bottle, it was a glass bottle. It was almost like a Victorian looking kind of label. Like it was like cursive and very kind of like formal looking and
Art Deco.
Yeah, it was like a very different brand from like where it ended up becoming. It was kind of more of like a garden-y kind of vibe, which makes sense because they had like sage and rose and things like that in it.
Yeah.
So that was her Mother Beverage. She's working outside, Texas summer heat. She's pregnant at this point. Her third week of the farmer's market, a buyer for Whole Foods approaches her at her booth.
I mean, that's probably like Whole Foods at its prime. That's like when you want to be in Whole Foods, when they're literally going to farmers markets to find things. I mean, now it's owned by Amazon and it's, I'm sure, a very different environment now. But Whole Foods is not one that we've really talked about, but I kind of put it in that same place of like Starbucks. We joke all the time that we wish it was like 1997 Starbucks with a Nora Jones CD playing in the background. Whole Foods was the same thing for me in the early 2000s. Like I would go like on a lunch break from work and it's like, it's so like cozy and quaint and things are in barrels and like you buy pizza in a weird way, like by the foot. Like I'll have a half a foot of pizza and like I really liked it, even though like it had the like joke of being whole paycheck and it was very expensive. Like it was a place I enjoyed being, and now it's like could not be further from. It's like now you can do your Amazon returns there. Like
they ask you to scan your palm to pay for your food. You can literally like have your palm enter their database, and then you pay with your palm.
Yeah, and it used to be like, it reminded me of like Harry Potter, like around Halloween, there would be like giant pumpkins of every size and flowers, and it was such a lovely time.
It almost felt like a bigger like Bristol Farms. I don't know if that's regional, but if anybody has like a small chain of like feels very farm to table, even if that's kind of an illusion, wanting to make it feel like, oh, this is like local straight from the farm. And all of that has gone out the window. Now it's like, it's cyber world. I'm rolling up with a mildewed bath mat, trying to get it returned. Now there's a full on like Amazon return kiosk in our Whole Foods, like which is so
I've used
feels
it many
weird.
Times. Yeah,
there's just a people like a line of 15 people like holding their like garbage, like waiting to send it back in a box to the Amazon facility. It's just like, what's happening? So yes, this is like peak Whole Foods probably, and the Whole Foods is in Austin. I don't even think there is one in Dallas at this point, but she's this Whole Foods buyer. She's just at the farmer's market with her mom. They're shopping around, and she says to Allison, look, I don't do this very often, but here's my card. You have a fantastic product. Give me a call. Can you imagine that moment? 3 weeks into
She's
the
like,
farmer's
I
market.
see Mother Beverage going around the world.
Up until this point, Allison hadn't seriously considered selling her beverage on a large scale. This was kind of like a hobby. It was a way to like make a little extra money. She's very pregnant. It's not really like on her mind, like that rapid kind of growth. But she sees this as such an incredible opportunity that she has to act. Her husband is reminding her of the circumstances. They just bought a house in Dallas. They just moved. She had just started her second trimester. But Allison could not shake that this was the direction that her life was meant to go. And now was the time to act.
Forgive me for not retaining it. What years are we talking about right now?
This was 2014 was when she discovered apple cider vinegar. So this is 2015. This is a year later.
Oh my God. I take back everything the whole story I just told. I was picturing this being like 10 years earlier. 2014, Whole Foods sucks. Like,
I don't know that they did it suck in 2014.
Suck.
I think it was still not as bad.
It wasn't as bad. And I don't think Amazon bought it until like maybe 2017 or 18. But I was envisioning a different time period. We
were back in listening to Norah Jones in a Starbucks. Lazy boy.
I just want to go back to those cozy times.
But
yes, it's still better than it is now.
They weren't scanning your palm in 2015, I'll tell you that much.
Especially if they're going to farmers markets too.
Exactly. So Allison and her husband, Steven, they break the news to their family. We're quitting our jobs. We're going to open our own production facility. We're going to put our entire life savings into Mother Beverage. This is just 3 weeks after Allison had sold her first bottle of prebiotic soda.
That's crazy,
3
man.
weeks.
All in. They're all in.
They're all in.
It helps when you have a husband, too. It's like you've got someone there to, like, be your cheerleader. Me, I would have created a Mother Earth soda, but I'm single, so it's just a lot harder.
Imagine what you'd be capable if you had a strong man in your corner.
I could be making daddy drink or something like that.
I mean, you have Al.
Twice the sugar.
Twice the sugar as a regular
Twice
Coke.
the sugar, 3 times the carbonation. Wasn't that like Jolt Cola? It was like twice the caffeine.
Yeah, I think so. There's a drink you have to drink when you're pregnant to test for gestational diabetes. And it's a drink that's like, there's orange flavor, there's like cherry flavor, there's even a cola flavor. And it's so syrupy and like impossibly sweet, like 80 grams of sugar in like a little bottle, and you have to drink it in like 30 minutes.
Yeah.
My point being, I wonder if you could get that to drink.
Yeah. Add some carbonation into that and turn that into John's daddy soda.
Pop it in the soda stream. It might be good. So they had made a friend at the farmer's market who had a brewery in Dallas, and they got a list of like all the equipment that they need, all the drums, all the vats, all the mixers, whatever. They spent $30,000 on credit cards, and they opened a facility that's about 1,000 square feet with no air conditioning in Dallas. And they were up and running, producing Mother Soda on a large scale within 10 months.
Now, my first question would be, why didn't you just get a place that does have air conditioning? Like you were shopping, so you had choices.
That would have cost $35,000.
Got it. They just didn't quite have it because it doesn't make as good of a story. I have a feeling that air conditioning didn't work one afternoon. And it's like how I feel like Jewel took a nap in her car and she's like, I grew up in a van. I'm like, maybe she did. I just don't totally believe it.
Well, they are working their butts off to keep Mother Beverage on the shelves at Whole Foods. 18 months into the business, Mother Beverage had grossed around $500,000. It's being sold in Whole Foods markets around the Dallas-Fort Worth region and more than 200 Albertsons locations.
Okay.
I didn't know Albertsons went that far. We have them here.
Albertsons is a big player in the grocery store scene now. It's acquired Safeway and Vons. It's basically the country is now Kroger's and Albertsons.
Wild.
You know, one or the other, both. Me, both.
Well, lucky. Brag.
Girl, I'm going to Kroger today. And I'll be at Albertsons next week.
I'm sure you will. So during this time, they're just in like full startup grind. Allison is back on the production line, Laverne and Shirley style, bottles passing by 2 weeks after giving birth with a newborn baby strapped to her chest. They're driving around town, hand delivering these crates of soda. Her husband took a job at night to pay their mortgage. At this point, their life savings is in the business. And even with every dollar that they make, it just gets reinvested into growing the brand. So money is still running out. Allison and her husband didn't take a paycheck for the first 2 years of the business.
That's what the sharks say. You don't take a paycheck in the beginning. You just got to hustle and keep putting all your money back into the biz.
And that's what they did. And they needed some more capital. So they asked Allison's dad and sister for an investment. They get $60,000 to put back in the business to keep them alive. And that sustains them for a little while. But at this point in the business, they don't just need cash. They need a partner. They need someone to advise them. in an industry that they know really not a lot about, a very competitive business, the beverage business. Then Allison sees a casting call for Shark Tank, and she applies.
Love it. Does she do, well, I'll wait to hear about it. I know Shark Tank can be, I have heard stories about people applying for season after season before they get in. I don't know if people get in quick. I used to love Shark Tank. For some reason now, like Impractical Jokers, I've lost interest.
Don't Google news about Impractical Jokers, by the way. A couple of those guys are in some hot water.
I know. I can't believe that. Joe and Murr. What happened?
I wonder if any of our listeners know what Impractical Jokers is, because there was a period where you and me, like 5 years ago, we got really into Impractical Jokers.
For some reason, I literally have Impractical Jokers in my notes for when we record the next off-brand, and I can't remember why, but I remember making a note of something reminded me of Impractical Jokers, and I was blaming it on COVID. Like, we went on a really deep dive on Impractical Jokers, and we're obsessed with it, and now it's like I'm embarrassed about it.
We just needed to laugh, and that's okay.
We just needed to laugh. We were so into it, yet they came to town, and tickets to their show was only $25, and it was 1 mile from our home, and we still did not go.
We were probably like laying on the couch rewatching Titanic or something.
Yeah.
Apparently, it's a very long process, like you said, to get on Shark Tank. And they're very mysterious. Like, you never really know how you are in the casting process. So you would, like, do your initial interview or whatever. You wouldn't hear anything for months. And then they'd reach out again and you do another follow-up interview. And that would kind of go on and on and on and on. And you never really know where you stand.
Yeah.
And then plus, on top of that, you have to, like, if you're going to get on, you have to prepare your pitch. You have to build your whole set. I didn't really think that, like, the people just independently, like, built their whole set that they pitched to the sharks with. But apparently you do.
I assume it'd be like an art department that, like, you kind of give them, like, your idea and they, like, put it together for you.
No, you're on your own.
Wow.
You're on your own. Allison is pregnant again at this time, and time keeps passing.
She should calm down. I mean, she maybe, there's well, no, I don't want to prevent. I want her to have the family she wants. So good for her.
She has a really active life in the bedroom with her husband.
Yes, they have a very healthy sex life.
So time keeps passing and she's pregnant. They never hear back about, like, if they're going to get on the show or not. Finally, they say, okay, June 26, 2018, you're going to shoot your segment on Shark Tank. Allison will at that point be 9 months pregnant.
Oh, my gosh.
So they fly to LA. They're like, we're going to do this. And they don't tell you who the sharks are going to be on your episode until the night before you're in the hotel.
I mean, that also feels a little like they're not setting you up for success. Like, you're going.
Which, of course, they're not. Of course they're not. They want you to be, like, off your game. And, like, I hate when they're, like, you're trying to negotiate back with them and they get so offended. They'll be like, ask one question. And then the shark is like, oh, you know what? Because of that attitude, I'm out.
Or where they're like, I'll give you this and you have 1 second to decide. It's like, I've been working on this for 15 years.
And that's not how any business works. So you have, imagine you were in a meeting and you're like, 1 second or where this, I'm leaving.
Yeah,
it would be crazy.
Though I do got to say that we've already done an episode on it, but Scrub Daddy, man, talk about the success. I know, like, I think you said in the show, it was no longer the one that's made the most money. I'm wondering if that has since changed again, because they're just finding so many ways to release different products with that brand.
Yeah. I feel like you've come around to Scrub Daddy.
No, I mean, I haven't bought one.
Do you still think they're ugly?
I do think they're ugly. I don't, like, I'm going to shove a spoon in its mouth. Like, I can just wash a spoon normal. I don't need to shove a spoon in that mouth.
Put your fingers in my eyes and shove a spoon in my mouth.
Poke its eyes out with my fingers. No.
I think Bombas is one of the number one Shark Tank product. The socks, the super tight socks.
Those are great socks. I got a pair from your mom for Christmas, and they're lovely socks.
They're great. They're really snug. So they
did
find
get a
out.
hole, but no,
Sorry, what?
No, they got a hole, but we don't have to talk about that.
So they find out the night before that one of their sharks is Rohan Osa. He's going to be on the show. And I wasn't really familiar with him because I haven't watched it lately, but he is apparently just the shark of all sharks for the beverage industry. He's behind some of the biggest.
I saw this episode. I remember now. I remember them having this conversation. Yes.
Oh,
sorry,
my gosh.
I didn't mean to cut you off. Go on.
No, that's okay. He's behind some of the biggest deals like BAI, you know, that drink, Vitamin Water. He used to be head of marketing at Coke. So they're thinking, like, what are the odds that we have, like, a beverage guy on our episode? No matter what he offers us, we are going to say yes. So they're filming their episode. It's going great. Allison is super pregnant, about to pop. Mother Beverage is seeking a $400,000 investment for 10% of the company.
Wow, that's a big valuation.
It is a big evaluation. You know who says they're fools? Bethany Frankel.
Bethany Frankel. That skinny bitch.
She says they are idiots to be doing their own manufacturing. They shouldn't be doing that themselves. They're not a brand. They're a mom and pop beverage company. She's like, back to the farmer's market with you. Mr. Wonderful says, oh, every beverage that comes in, their evaluation is always insane. And like, it's never actually true. They're all delusional. Mark Cuban, he just sees the work ahead, money raising wise to get all the marketing to compete with the big dogs in the drink business, which is a extremely competitive market to break into.
I would assume it's basically like Coke and Pepsi. Like how are you going to penetrate that?
Exactly. Lori says she'll be a customer, but she is not ready to be an investor. And the last shark up is Rohan Osa, the one that they want, the godfather of the beverage industry. It just so happens that he thinks healthier soda alternatives are the future.
I love it.
He has been searching for years and years for something like this.
Amazing.
I just got chills. I mean, I can't believe it.
She goes into labor. She can't believe what she's hearing. She sits down. She squirts out the baby and strikes a deal.
The baby shall be named Poppi. He says he will take the $400,000 investment, but he knows how much work this is going to require. So he wants 25% instead of 10.
Give it to him.
Great. They take
Who cares? Yeah, absolutely.
Rohan, he loves the product. He loves the taste, but he doesn't love the brand. He doesn't love the name.
Thank you. Thank you. I am Rohan. I know these things.
I am Rohan now. It helps that Rohan Osa, he has a company called Kavu Ventures, whose slogan for this company, they build brands, they like kind of create marketing campaigns and rebrand products. The slogan for his company is building brands for a healthier world. I mean, how perfect is this?
Great. Synergy.
Launched the brands for Vital Proteins, which is a very popular, like all of these, like even if you don't know the name, you would recognize these if you're at all like in like a health food store, you know what these are. Vital Proteins, Hip Peas, the little chickpea puffs, Thrive Market, Kettle and Fire bone broth, et cetera, et cetera. So he has his fingers on the pulse of the healthy food market. So the next 8 months, it's a full rebrand. We're changing the name. We're changing the packaging. We're changing the logos, everything. Their mission is to create a brand that pops off the shelf.
Oh.
And reminds the shopper of old school soda pop.
Oh, so okay. It's a play. It's going to pop visually. It's going to old school style. I love it.
Right.
How was Allison feeling about all these changes? Some people get very attached to like what they come up with and they don't want to change anything. Was she receptive?
She was so receptive. Basically, like the packaging that she had and like the name, she was like, I came up with it in a day. Like we were like on a rush to the farmer's market. She like didn't really put too much thought in it. It wasn't like it was her baby that she felt like was being taken away from her. Here is their statement for the relaunch. Goodbye, sugary soda. Say hello to Poppi, a fun Chanel, in parentheses. It works better read than read aloud.
No, I can see you, so yeah.
You need to see my hands are making like two little parentheses when I say that. A fun Chanel prebiotic soda for all. With an eye to launch in March 2020, Poppi came to us with a very specific challenge to create a digital-first modern-day badge brand, don't know what that means, that people want to be a part of and retailers want to carry. We started by creating a visually arresting package anchored in bright colors and graphic illustrations to capture the newly developed, happy, playful, and totally quirky personality. Super delicious and made for the gram. Barf. Poppi is a soda for the next generation. Great, right?
It's great. I love it. I mean, they already had the bright colors and look. This was all like launched as a package. Like it all kind of came together as it is now.
As it is now, exactly. Like what you see now is what was created by Kavu Ventures. Their handiwork. So their new slogan is "Be Gut Happy." Their cans, not bottles like the old style, are bright, vibrant, and modern with a very clear, consistent color scheme. This is something I feel like you'll like this. They really wanted to make it like drilled into your brain, the branding in the same way like, you know, a Nike swoosh would be. So, for example, they have a strawberry lemon flavor. It's yellow. It's a certain yellow and a certain pink. That yellow and that pink will only ever be used in that combination for the strawberry lemon. So if there is another can that has pink, it's a different pink. That pink is never going to go with the orange. The yellow is never going to go with the blue. They want when somebody sees that pink and that yellow together, they think, oh, Poppi, strawberry lemon. They want it to be like in your subconscious, like all the best brands do.
Now, here's what I'll say about it. Here's what I'm going to say about their branding as someone who doesn't use their product, but someone who obviously appreciates brands and loves branding. Mm-hmm. I could pick out a Poppi. If I went in the store from a distance, I could tell what a Poppi is. Mm-hmm. I can tell that they've been very thoughtful about their branding and have created a very recognizable identity. I did not know that it was a probiotic drink until you told me that. So that has not been ingrained in me at all, that is part of their mission.
Well, I think that might be part of it because part of their goal is to what they said, take on big soda. So I think if there's people who are like soda drinkers and they see a packaging that like leads with like super health Dr. Wellness brew, you're going to like already kind of like brush it off. Yeah. So I think they want to kind of convert people who are soda drinkers rather than like kombucha drinkers.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I accept that answer. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. We are both sharks now. I am Rohan also. So as you might have heard, their new product launches in March of 2020.
I did hear that, and I was going to come back to that because I got to say, March 2020 is a brutal month to launch a new beverage or any product.
You and I were still reeling from seeing Oprah live at her 2020 Perfect Vision tour.
High. I was getting yelled at for standing up at Oprah when everyone else was sitting for some reason. It's Oprah. Stand up.
We were both getting yelled at by Julianne Hough, who was leading us in some cardio.
Oh, God. And then Oprah fell. She created COVID.
Uh-huh.
And
that was when the timeline split, was Oprah falling. That was when
the timeline split, when Oprah fell at the Kia Forum.
There's another alternate reality where it's you and me. Oprah didn't fall. Maybe we don't even have a podcast in that alternate reality. So maybe this one is better.
In that other reality, it's still called Mother's Beverage.
Mother Beverage. It might be.
Yeah.
It might be. So they have a big challenge ahead. During the rebrand, like since in the time between the Shark Tank episode aired and when they were like working on the Poppi rebrand, there were retailers who reached out who saw like the Shark Tank episode and said, we want to stock your shelves with Mother. So then they still had to say like, no, wait, like we're working on something else. They had to like take a hiatus. They were getting like some money in pre-sales because people liked Rohan and they were kind of like curious about what this was going to turn into. So they actually got more than $1 million in like pre-orders during their hiatus. After 8 months of being on hold and all these exciting new changes, they're very eager to get back and running. But I mean, COVID, like people aren't going out. They're not going to barbecues. They're not like, having a party and getting a big cooler full of Poppi. But one of the benefits from lockdown March 2020 was there was kind of a collective interest in health. People are like wanting to kind of like boost their health as much as they can in preparation for, being exposed to any illness and online sales. So they weren't reliant necessarily on being in the grocery stores. That's not where people are shopping. Poppi took the #1 spot on Amazon's new products list 3 weeks after the launch. And then you'll love this. On a whim one night, Allison goes on TikTok on the Poppi account. They had been trying to post like viral dances. I mean, this was like really when, we just talked about this. TikTok was like people are locked in their houses. They're going crazy. Everybody's like dancing. Everyone's like trying to get a ping pong ball in like a milk jug 40 feet away. Everyone's like kind of going a little loopy.
Yeah.
And the Poppi TikTok account was trying to kind of like do those like viral meme kind of TikTok videos. Allison just sits down before going to bed one night. She opens TikTok and she decides to just like record herself telling her story. She's saying, my name is Allison. I started this drink. We appeared on Shark Tank and now we did a relaunch. It's just kind of her like being really like vulnerable and personal, not like salesy, but just kind of like sharing her story.
I feel like I remember these too.
Oh my gosh, how funny.
I really do. I don't think they would have stuck in my head enough to be like, oh my God. But I remember Poppi being on TikTok. Like they were, they were pushing it.
For sure. So she goes to bed. She posts her kind of like little confessional, sharing her story about their struggles and all of that, being really vulnerable. And she goes to bed. She wakes up. Her video has 1 million views.
Probably me. I probably just fell asleep and it just looped all night.
You might have been like sleeping when you heard it and it just like got in your subconscious, like subliminally.
Exactly.
They had 100,000 sales in over 24 hours. And she says her takeaway from that is like, just even if you're the president of a company, just be real, tell your story, be authentic, stay positive, and you'll find your community. So the audience really resonated with somebody who's like leading like a beverage brand. You're not seeing like the CEO of Pepsi like getting on TikTok and bearing their soul. People really connected with Allison. She's really sweet. She's very likable. She's a mom, which is cool. It's like a woman-owned company. There's a lot of reasons to really be on Poppi's team. So at the same time, Poppi's new brand strategy, it's paying off and they're getting a lot of new organic growth, plus interest from celebrities, which they take great advantage of. So, for example, like Allison here's J-Lo. We saw J-Lo speak at Oprah. I just remembered.
We did.
Yes,
J-Lo,
she was the guest.
And then I think the people before us or after us got Michelle Obama. And I was like, God. We got J-Lo.
What is going on with, Ben Affleck? Did you see somebody had a tweet that was like, does he only know 2 women? The way he like goes back and forth. It's like, get it together.
Did you hear he's engaged again to Jennifer Gardner?
Oh my gosh, no way.
I'm kidding. He's not.
Honestly, wait, by the time this episode comes out, it'll be true. It will be true, which is funny because he's Matt Damon adjacent. So if we're going to acknowledge the significant work of Matt Damon, we have to acknowledge the cultural impact of Ben Affleck.
Yeah, that is true.
He's good. I watched Good Will Hunting recently. He's great.
Good Will Hunting's so good. That makes me cry.
Yeah.
Maybe let's just talk about that now. Let's just talk about Good Will Hunting.
People wanted us to do like a watch along, and we're just like silently crying watching Good Will Hunting, and people are like in the chat like, are they going to talk? And we're like, no, we're just
thoughts?
Like watching Good Will Hunting.
Someone's like, I think I can hear John sniffing.
So they find out that J-Lo was a fan. This is in 2021. Allison sends Poppi to the set of J-Lo's new music video. It's not like they're working in like a official PR way. It's just like, you're a fan. We want just like to stock up your craft services with Poppi. J-Lo posts a video of her dancing with a Poppi can.
Oh boy.
Doesn't
get bigger than that.
Can you ask for a better endorsement? You really can't.
No.
This is kind of the time where people are really starting to get savvy to like when something is just like a sponsored post, you know what I mean? Or like sponsored social media stuff. So like a organic net, like just like an incidental advertisement is kind of the best. You're like, oh, J-Lo drinks Poppi. She's not like shilling them. She just like genuinely likes it.
Well, this is the same as Kylie talking about the gummy clusters. Exactly.
Like,
and she wasn't paid by nerds to do that. She just really liked them.
You can't beat that. Beat that. At this point, Poppi is now the fastest growing non-alcoholic beverage in the nation. To keep up with the growth, they reopened to new investors in 2021. Celebrities like Olivia Munn, Russell Westbrook,
Ooh.
24K Golden. You know who that is?
I don't know who the 3 people are you mentioned.
You don't know who Olivia Munn is?
I mean, I've heard the name, but I couldn't tell you what she's in.
Okay. Russell Westbrook, basketball player?
No.
Okay. Ellie Goulding. Do you know who that is?
That's a young actress.
Is it?
Isn't it?
I thought it was a singer.
Oh, God.
Halsey. You know Halsey?
Yes. Okay. Singer.
Okay.
I don't know a song. I mean, I'm sure I do. I do feel like oh God, we're like grandparents now. Halsey? Yes, she's great.
Kevin Love, do you know who that is?
No, these are the celebrities they got?
These are the celebrities.
Where's your Julia Roberts? Where's your Ethel Merman? Where's your
Angela
Lucille
Bassett?
Ball?
Where's
Angela Lansbury? Where is...
Somebody comes to you like, John, are you interested in investing this new product? There's some really good investors. We feel like it's really on the rise. You're like, unless I'm hearing Warren Beatty, I'm not perking up.
How does Angela Lansbury feel about it? She passed away 10 years ago. How does she feel about it? What does her estate have to say?
I'm going to need to hear from the Lansbury estate before I make a formal decision. So they're competing with the established brands of Big Soda, which is, as I've alluded to, this is a major undertaking. According to Beverage Digest, a magazine I am dying to subscribe to, Coca-Cola's market share in the 2022 carbonated soft drink industry was more than 46%. PepsiCo, 24.7%. This was a merger I didn't know about. Keurig Dr. Pepper is the name of the company.
I didn't know Keurig was part of it, but I knew Dr. Pepper was its own thing.
I feel like we should spend like half a day on like a new name because Keurig Dr. Pepper
Yeah, it
is a
should just be
nightmare.
Dr. Pepper. Well, Keurig is a pretty big brand too.
Well,
though.
come up with a new name to encompass all that they do. You don't just have to like list the people. It's not
Dr.
a law firm.
Keurig. Dr. Keurig. Wait, it's not Keurig like the coffee thing?
It is, but it's like Keurig Dr. Pepper. It's like, I don't know. It's not cute.
Yeah,
It's not cute. They have 21.3%.
Mm.
So Allison says,
that's admirable.
does that feel like a lot for Keurig Dr. Pepper?
Yeah, for all of sodas. I mean, Dr. Pepper is basically one soda.
That's true.
Here's the thing I don't get about Dr. Pepper. It has such a unique taste, and I think that they tout that they have like 21 ingredients, a bunch of these flavors in it, but then they still come out with other flavors of Dr. Pepper. It's like, Dr. Pepper is so flavorful, but then they have strawberry Dr. Pepper or strawberry and cream or orange or like all these other ones. I've never really understood that.
I don't see any need for that. A strawberry. If I'm at a Coke freestyle machine, I'm not adding in a squirt of orange cream into a Dr. Pepper.
No. You don't. It doesn't need anything. No, of course not. No.
It's like it's a fully finished thing.
It's a fully finished thing. You've done it. You have come up with the formula.
The perfect drink.
Now you're giving me, John, just like, well, maybe. You know what I think you guys messed up? It needs a squirt of orange cream.
That is crazy. It's like if it was good, y'all would have done it.
Yeah.
It would be on the shelf.
They do it. Now we're just off topic. We're just talking about the freestyle machine, which I do think is psychotic. It's like going to Blaze Pizza where everyone's like, people are like $8 for whatever I want and they get every topping. I'm like, but that's not going to be a good pie.
It's not going to be good.
The freestyle, you can't just click buttons and get whatever you want in it.
You get excited. It's kind of like a slot machine. It's just fun to click buttons and then you end up like getting like some suicide is what we used to call them.
Some sludge. Yeah.
That's right. So Allison says that big sodas own everything. They own every stadium. They own McDonald's. They own every fountain. They own everything. And if you want to sponsor like Coachella or get your name out, Coke already has a contract, so you can't. So they always have to get creative in the things that they do. So instead of accepting big soda's brand and commercial ubiquity as like an unconquerable obstacle, Allison and the Poppi team consider it to be an opportunity for innovation. So they can't be in football stadiums or movie theaters, but Poppi says they strive to create new moments of nostalgia for future generations. So she says, well, what does that new occasion look like? And this is still 2021, so things are still a little funny. Haven't gone back to normal. So instead of going by McDonald's, maybe you and your boyfriend are going to order from a ghost kitchen on Uber Eats.
I gotta say, I think it's kind of funny that this all started out with a woman who had tummy problems, and now she's like, now my goal is to find new moments for the new generation. I was like, I thought you were just trying to like help your diarrhea.
You know, it does help diarrhea, but we can do both. We can do both.
We can do both.
Its sales topped 100 million by 2024. This is driven by endorsements from celebrities like Hailey Bieber. Kylie Jenner has her little sticky, clustery fingers in here.
She gets them in everything. I love it.
Post Malone, who even did he had his like favorite, he might be an investor. He had his favorite flavor, which was wild berry. And they came out with like a limited edition that said like Posties soda on the side.
Very cute. I love stuff like that.
They even became the official drink sponsor of the LA Lakers. So they're kind of squeezing their way in.
The LA Lakers feels very on brand for them because of their colors.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
That kind of feels like poppy colors.
It kind of also feels like it's like youthful, it's LA, it's like urban energy.
The dream.
Critics will say, is it even healthy? Does it even have enough fiber to give you any benefit? Somebody sued the company saying it doesn't. It only has 2 grams of this fiber that's like you'd have to have like 4 poppies a day to get any benefit of that. I don't know about the apple cider vinegar. When you look into it, there's some people who say that's a scam and apple cider vinegar doesn't do anything. Despite these minor controversies, Poppi is not going anywhere, and it represents a huge trend shift in the beverage market, with functional beverages reaching a value of $134 billion in 2024. So the healthy soda alternatives, this is not just one brand, 2 brands. This is its own sector now.
Wow.
This alone demonstrates the growing interest and shift to healthier drinks, explaining the multitude of new brands wanting to respond to the demand, including Coke's entrance into the prebiotic soda game with Simply Pop. How about that?
I'll try it.
Now you're in.
Give it to me. Diet Simply Pop.
On May 17th, 2025, so just a few weeks ago, PepsiCo announced it is acquiring Poppi.
No.
For $1.95 billion. Are you hearing that? Billion with a B. $2 billion.
Pepsi.
This is 10 years since the first drink was sold at a farmer's market in Texas.
She became a billionaire in 10 years?
Yeah.
Wow.
She worked her butt off. She worked really hard. Shout out to Allison. We don't get to do a lot of female-owned, female-developed brands. So I got to give Allison props.
She had kids, had a family, had an idea, had an upset tummy, and turned it all into gold. I have an upset tummy, and all I do is go to the bathroom.
I was going to say, next time you get a tummy ache, instead of laying in bed feeling bad for yourself, you should say how can this make me rich?
That's so crazy.
Isn't that crazy?
Too bad that it's Pepsi, but good for her. That's great.
People are worried, like they always are when a big corporation acquires a beloved brand, that things will change. But Allison is still very involved in the company. And I think everybody's confident on their side that the product won't deviate from the drink that everybody loves so much. So that's it for Poppi. Jon, I feel like I know the answer, but is Poppi on brand for you? You
know what? I'm actually going to say, I'm going to put a pin in it. I'm going to say until I try it, I don't know. I will say what is on brand for me is their thoughtfulness to design, which I really appreciate and is something that I think is important for branding. I think they're memorable and I like the story. So I'm leaning towards it being on brand. I'm going to wait until I try it to give my final decision. And I will ask you the same thing. Is it on brand for you?
You know what? It's tricky because I never want to drink one because it gives me a stomach ache, but which ironically, Poppi gives me a stomach ache because of the stevia. So I need to invent another soda.
Yeah.
For people who get tummy aches from Poppi. But I agree. The branding is really good. I love the story. I love that she's a mom. I love their marketing. I think the can looks really cute. If I'm having a barbecue or I'm hosting a baby shower, I want to be mindful of how the cans look in the cooler. I would get Poppi. I think that would be a really fun thing. And I think people get excited if there was a big cooler of Poppis on ice.
Yeah.
So it's a light on brand for me. It's like 3 bubbles.
And you have tried it?
Yeah, I've tried it. And I would drink a can and then I'd get the rumblies and then I would think oh no, I can't have this. But it's good. And I will say kids can drink it because it doesn't have a lot of sugar in it. It's not like a diet soda, and my kids love it. So she says her kids drink it. My kids love it. In fact, my daughter is such a fan of Poppi that 2 months ago they had a collab at Target, and we had to get this.
Oh boy. Okay.
Poppi was popular enough that they came out with a Target collab where they had these beanies and sweatshirts. If you're not looking at me, I have a pink beanie with a little Poppi strawberry on it. But I think that is cute. So I guess the fandom is great enough that people want to wear a hat with a Poppi logo on it and sweatpants, sweatshirt, a whole Poppi be gut happy thing. So I think that's just a testament to their staying power.
Well, that could lean me towards being off-brand if they try to do Poppi home goods and they start making Poppi plushies and come up with a band of characters.
I mean, if you liked the drink, you'd want the characters.
Angry agave.
Ooh, that's cute.
Okay, maybe that might work. Get me a meeting with Poppi.
Okay, Allison online too.
I need to talk to Allison. Well, awesome. Well, thank you. That was a very fun, again, you brought something to the table that I do nothing about. I'm sure the people listening will have lots of thoughts about it and lots of stories of their own Poppi experiences. And hopefully Allison has been helping them create their new memories, which she's trying to do.
Yes. Please share your future nostalgia of your Poppi moments. Send us a message. We'd love to hear from you guys how you feel about Poppi or what your favorite flavor is, what Jon should try. And that's it. That's it for Poppi.
I love it. Well, before we go, I want to give some shout outs to our Insta Egg winners for the TikTok episode. I know our shout outs are a little wonky right now because we're recording in a little weird order right now, but I do have the ones for TikTok. The Insta Egg for TikTok was footage I shot of Kesha singing the song TikTok, which I turned into a TikTok, and I had the little TikTok logo on it. It was a very easy egg. Some people still got confused, but that's okay. That's what makes the egg fun. But these are our 5 freaks of the week. The first is Justin Vogt, VOGT, Candace Hansen, Sheila Foley, Brooke, Reba, and Zach Jones. So congratulations. You guys are our 5 Freaks of the Week. Be sure to brag to all your friends. Let everybody know. We appreciate you playing the game. And also check out our Instagram every week because we also put a supplemental material for every episode that we do. So you can see pictures of Allison and probably from the Shark Tank from this episode. And maybe, hopefully, God willing, we'll see a mother beverage label in there when Marisa puts this package together. So you can kind of get a visual of all the things that we've been talking about.
And we're all giving shout outs. I'd like to shout out some lovely listeners who've left us 5-star reviews on Apple Podcasts. First, we have Butt Sleeves who says, okay. And actually, there's somebody else who left a review, HDJ who said, good pod. I can't stop saying Mokay. So thank you for that.
Oh, that's Mokay. That's Eeyore. Mokay.
So, John, you are influencing culture. You're changing language.
I love it.
We also have Mrs. Highfill76 who says, I finally found my people and it's this podcast. As a marketing teacher, small business owner, and total brand nerd, finding this show 5 months ago was everything I didn't know I've needed. She goes on and on to be very lovely and give us some nice words to boost our morale. Leave a review on Apple Podcasts if you haven't done that already. It helps get our show out there and it helps our spirit, I think. We share them with each other. It makes our day. It helps our soul. It really means a lot to us.
It helps our tummies more than probiotics.
That is for sure. When I'm bloated, I just go back and scroll through our positive reviews and, ooh, no trouble.
When I have a stomach ache and I'm laying in bed and I start to feel better, it's because I know someone out there is listening to the pod. And then when it ends, my stomach hurts again.
If you'd like to check out Off Brand, our Patreon sister show, you can look for that on Patreon. It's like this, but a little more off.
And
we have new episodes that drop every Tuesday. And with that, we'll be back next week with an all-new episode.
And remember, we may go off topic, but we will always be on brand.
Bye.
Goodbye.